Alright, so this is my second time trying to do this, so I hope it doesn't freeze up again. I thought that since I've been doing my MR30 farm, it would be best if I shared a few of the Warframes that I've been using to level up. So in this video, I'm going to go over my Nova builds and yeah, just show you what's been working best for me. So I'm going to show two builds today, actually. I'm going to show a Slowva and a Speeva, and you'll see what those are here in a bit. So Steel Charge, again, mainly just to get energy, and if I'm using a melee weapon, it's nice to have that extra damage. And the interesting thing with Nova is that her fourth ability is not affected by range on how far it goes. Her fourth ability is affected uh, by duration, and that's how you see that I have 34% range, but I have a positive number on my radius. The explosion radius is down, but with Molecular Prime, the duration that it has determines how long it increases in its range. So pretty much this build, both of these builds will focus on my first and my fifth ability, Molecular Prime and Null Star. So I have a lot of mods for duration here. Prime Continuity, of course, Narrow-Minded, plus Duration Negative Range, because range doesn't matter, and then Augur Message, all providing duration buff. And then I have Umbral Vitality and Umbral Intensify for that little bit extra health and strength, and that 55% strength is what gets me to the 75% slow on the Slowva build. And then I have Adaptation, just for a little extra damage negation, and then Molecular Fission, which ties it all together. Essentially what Molecular Fission does, which you could read, every time that an enemy is primed, that's what I'm just going to call it, is primed with your fourth, it restores a charge to your first. And with your first, if you have a ton of orbs, 16 being the cap, it gives you 90% damage reduction, which is huge. Which is really, really, really good. So that's how Slowva works. And essentially you stand in the middle of Hydron and you just press your fourth. That's how this build works. That's how both of these builds work. And then for a Speeva, this is what I use more commonly. I have Power Donation and Overextended. Both of those giving me negative ability strength. So you're probably thinking, why would I do that? Well, to put it simply, negative ability strength on Nova inverts the effect of her slow on her fourth. So I can have a 90%, uh, sorry, I can take away 90% of my strength on Nova, and then her slow becomes a negative, meaning that it turns into speed. So build is more or less the same. Prime Continuity with a Narrow-Minded for duration. I added Constitution this time instead of Augur Message. And then I have Umbral Vitality for a little bit of extra HP stretch so that whenever they explode, they take one another out. And Cunning Drift, again, for a little more ability range. And because it would fit. Pretty much that's it. So I'm going to show you how both of these builds work. Just against some enemies so you can see how they move. So if I come over here and I go to kill enemies, take away pause AI, invincibility, and then simulate energy. This is Slowva. You can see how much they move. They slow down. They don't move as much. Pretty straightforward. So, I'm going to show you what happens with a Speeva. And let's swap real quick. Speeva. Speeva is the one that I use more frequently because the way I see it, you get enemies to you faster, and you can kill things faster to get more EXP. They're still slowed. Okay. Kill enemies. Alright, moving at normal speed, hit him with Speeva, and they all zoom up. So pretty straightforward, I think. Very straightforward, and essentially what this allows you to do is that in the simulacrum, it's not the best example, but it essentially allows you to kill the enemies. There we go. But essentially all the enemies will rush towards you faster because that's what their AI is programmed to do. Go towards you when you're on a defense mission. The main reason I do this is because this is one of those weird situations where if I use Speeva, it provides me with um, so one of the ways that Affinity works is that Affinity goes towards what is being used. So if I'm using abilities a lot, then the Affinity is going to go towards my frame instead of going towards my weapons. However, that's if you're getting kills with your abilities. If you're not getting kills with your abilities, you're just touching them, essentially. You're still getting Affinity for that because you contributed to the kill, but since it's not a kill with an ability, it registers differently. It's just raw Affinity. So I'm using Molecular Prime so that I can essentially touch everyone on the field. Sounds bad, whatever. So I can essentially touch everyone on the field, have the ability to earn that EXP, and then it can all go into the weapons that I have equipped. So that is pretty much how I have structured this build. And then the other thing about it too is it's designed so that you essentially cannot die. And then in addition to that, with the Arcane Energize, it just provides extra energy. So you're not limited, you can recast tons of times, because there isn't any efficiency on this build. So this is just 100 energy every time you cast it, and you only have 260 energy. So you can only get 2 casts out of it before needing more. So I know not everyone will have the arcanes, and that's alright, but this is primarily the build that I use when uh, EXP farming. So hope this helps. Hope this is useful on how to build a Speeva and a Slowva, and essentially how I predominantly use them. They can of course be used in other situations as well, but this is just where I find them most useful. So hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.